We are here today at the Genji Kyoto Hotel in the lobby, sitting next to a garden I designed. The garden is called the Ukifune Garden. Ukifune translates as floating boat or drifting boat, and it refers to one of the last chapters of the Genji Monogatari, the Tale of Genji, a novel written about 1,000 years ago here in this city of Kyoto. It tells the story of a prince, Prince Genji, and his many loves and trials and tribulations. And in this last chapter, there is a character, a young woman, who we know as Ukifune. That's not her real name, but that's the name we know her by. She is being pursued by two gentlemen who are pulling her one way or the other. She has no idea of how to control her own life. And as she is going across the Uji River in a boat with one of those two princes, she spouts a poem in which she likens her life to an ukifune, a floating boat or a drifting boat, carried by the river and not in control of her own life. So this garden recreates that chapter, that scene of the river and a boat stone, and further hints that even our planet Earth is like an ukifune, a floating boat, with a little bit of nature on it floating through the galaxy. And speaking of how names can inform artwork, as in this garden, the name tells you what the meaning of the garden is. There's also a book that I just published called The Name of the Willow. It's a beautiful edition, bound with a wattoji, the old traditional sewn binding used in Japan, and it's produced in both English and Japanese editions. The Name of the Willow is the English title. The Japanese title is Yanagi no Na. And the story goes something like this. On a riverbank, there is a single tree. And the tree, everyone says, is named Willow. But I come to find out that its real name is something else. To begin with, the tree has a very unusual shape to its trunk, which is because it lives on the riverbank, and it bends into a curve. So that tree should really be called riverbank willow. On the next page, we meet some deer who are eating the leaves of the tree and shape it into a very unusual page boy style haircut. So that particular tree, which is different from any other willow, should really be called Hungry Deer Riverbank Willow. On the following page, we meet a family of foxes that live in the roots of the tree, under the tree, and they eat rabbits and things like that, and the blood and gristle of that animal and their own scat and piss goes into the ground and becomes part of the willow. So really the name of this particular willow tree should be Fox-Skull Hungry Deer Riverbank Willow. And as we go through the book, we meet all the different things that come together to make that willow what it really is. And the name gets longer and longer and longer. The suggestion is that by changing the name we give things, we can change the way we see the world. By using this long, inclusive name, we begin to see that tree not as a separate entity, but as a confluence of streams, an aggregate of interactions. And that is the reality of the world, that things are not fixed individual entities. Rather, they are compilations of everything that comes together to make them what they are. The Name of the Willow and the Ukifune Garden at Genji Kyoto.